It's wheel day. Good morning, welcome back. Right, before we get started, wheel spacers. Love them or hate them, they're going on, okay? So if all you're going to do is shout at me, then this is probably not the video for you, okay? But I really have no choice at this stage. The front of the car is a Crown Vic with four and a half wheel stud pattern, 5 by 4.5, right? The rear is currently Chevy with 4 3/4, 5 by 4 3/4 stud, right? I want to run the same wheels all round, and at the moment the back end, because it's quite a wide rear end I've got, I have to run really high positive offset wheels in order for them to not stick out past the fenders. However, with the wheels that are currently on, with the sort of Chevy bolt pattern, 4 3/4, they're actually too close. So I've got a really wide rear end with really positive offset. So what I have to do, in order to get all 4 wheels the same, 4.5, I need to have wheel adapters. So these aren't just spacers, they're going from 4 3/4 Chevy to 4.5 kind of Ford fitment. So I'll be able to run the same wheel all the way around, and these will bring the wheels out a bit from the frame, because they're actually, the current ones are kind of rubbing. So they'll bring them out a bit, and the front and rear wheel span, what's the word? Wheelbase? No, that's front to back, you know what I mean. But the front should be almost exactly the same as the back with these spacers. So that's why I'm going with these. They seem like a good quality. Nice and heavy, not that cheap aluminum stuff. They're still aluminum, but they seem pretty good. So the only problem I might have is finding wheel nuts that fit inside there, because they'll need to be flush. Otherwise, when I put the wheel on, they'll be hitting the studs. So I need to think about that. So let's jack up the car and see if these actually fit. Fingers crossed. I've only been waiting 2.5 months. So the spacers do fit nicely, and I've got a nice hole in the middle for my hub center to come through, which was actually the problem before. The wheels that I had on were slightly smaller in the center, so I couldn't actually fit them perfectly straight. So if you saw in previous videos when the back of the car was on the jacks and I was running it in gear, you would have seen the wheel wobble. It's because it wasn't actually flush against the hub. Now what I will need to do is get a set of, well, when I say a set, I need 10 lug nuts. They are 7/16 by 120. I don't actually know what the 120 is, but 7/16. I think this rear end was from a 57 Chevy, and for that year of rear end they took a 7/16 by 120 lug nut. So that's the thread I need. For now, to test the wheels, I'll just cut these nuts down. It's actually, these are only threaded halfway anyway, so the top is really just, the dome section is really just to make it look nice. But I'd rather have the proper nuts for the job. So I will mark these. I've got, I should have 20 of these nuts, so I've got plenty to practice with. And I need to dig out the wheels, which are currently down there underneath all this. So I'll be back in a sec with those wheels and 10 chopped down lug nuts. So I was about to show you how lovely my wheel, my lug nuts turned out, and then a wasp decided to climb into my welding glove and sting me in the frickin' arm. See this line up here? That's because my front facing camera's smashed. I hate wasps. Anyway, I think the other camera's okay, so I'll show you my lug nuts and stop whinging, baby. So these are the standard open end lug nuts that I got with the adapter plate. These go on to the adapter plate, so they're no use for the wheel, but I needed something similar in size for the hub studs, right? So I had these are actually the right thread, 7/16, okay, but they're obviously too big, they need to be about that size. As you saw, I cut them down and they turned out pretty nice, and obviously I rounded the edges to make a socket go on the end, and that was a wee bit higher. I can always grind it down a bit more, but they're pretty much the same. And the thread on the inside actually stops before the end, so I really don't think there's a problem with these. Have I not just turned these into standard lug nuts then? Let me know if these will do the job and you think they're strong enough. Then I don't see the point in spending money to get exactly the same if it's the same thing. So right, let me throw it all together and see if it works. Well, that all went swimmingly. Looks nice. A wee bit fiddly to centre the nuts. I never like over tightening the first one in case it's offset and then every other one, so I kind of go around them in various stages of tightness, and I think it's centred as best. I mean, it should be centred. If these are all torqued up evenly, then it should be centred. I also want to point out that you're probably thinking, well, why didn't I just use the short ones on the hubs and use the long ones on the outside and I wouldn't have had to cut them? Different threads, okay? They're not the same thread as the ones I cut, so that's why I did that. Right, I shall roll it outside since the sun's trying to make an effort and get the other side done. Okay, both wheel adapters are fitted, both wheels are fitted, it's jacked up, it's on axle stands on the rear axle. So let's fire it up, put it in gear, see if it wobbles. Hope it doesn't. Well, hallelujah. Not perfect, because I'll show you why it's not perfect, right? So it looked about 95%, 96% perfect. Now there's a couple of reasons it won't be perfect at the moment. First of all, I have no idea of the history of these wheels. They could be buckled, who knows. And the other main thing is, I still have to clean the drum. I basically just bolted that straight onto a painted, rusted drum. So I need to get the drum off, give that a good clean, make it nice and smooth, make sure the inside of the wheel is smooth, and then I'm confident it's going to be perfect. Right, you might think that wheel's a bit close to the outside. These are just kind of hanging on, right? I've still to put sort of steel rods to go from there to the inside to bring that out, and that'll bring the whole thing out a fair bit. So don't panic about that. It's actually going to be a really nice stance, to be honest. And if down the line I get nice alloy wheels of the same size as those steels, it should look very nice. Overall, wheel spacers, big win, big win. They were $103 for the pair, which isn't too bad, including shipping. Well, shipping was free, I think. It's another win for Dave at Scott Rods. Right folks, I'm going to quit for the day because anything sharp is finding my arms and legs today. So I'm going to take the wasp sting as a sign. Right, before you go, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment if you want to be included in the map of world domination tomorrow. That'll be updated. And you will get a pin of your colour choosing. So make sure you let me know what colour of pin you need, if you care, you know. Otherwise it defaults to hot pink. So leave a comment, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow evening with a map update. Take care everyone, bye bye.